Every weekend, we tell you, is a big one in the Missouri Valley Conference, and no question. Coach Rhodes and his team has a big one this weekend at home against the Murray State Racers as we preview that weekend and recap the week that was for Saluki baseball. Coach Rhodes, appreciate the time, as always, coming in. As we say, it's always a big weekend, a great chance at home. I know alumni weekend, a lot of things going on this weekend for your program, but also trying to get some momentum back. I mean, there's a lot of things that point towards that this weekend is a big one for your club.
Yeah, I think it's the time of the year where we need alumni weekend. We need the weather. There's no doubt about it. We're in a little bit of a funk right now. We're not going to hide from it. You know, we gotta face it head on. And there's no team that's going to come in here and feel sorry for us. I mean, anytime that an opponent sees that someone's struggling, they want to jump on them right then. And I'm sure Murray's coming in hoping that we continue, what we've been doing. And, we've got to find a way to right the ship and, get on the winning side. I mean, winning cures everything. I mean, losing it's a tough thing to overcome. And that's why you don't ever want to lose, because it just it's a slow death. And, again, we're not going to sit here and make excuses about injuries or anything like that. I mean, everybody goes through them. We've been hit hard, and we got two guys on our bench. We got 6 guys that are in street clothes. So again, but we've still got to be able to find ways to win. And the people that are on the field, the team that we're putting on the field, can win games, and we've got to figure out how to do it.
I think 2 things can be true, Coach Rhodes. One of, look, maybe you don't have whatever swag or juice that you want right now or playing up to your standard. But also give credit to UIC. I thought over the weekend they played really well in their park. Their offense made some really key plays at times. They made some key pitches at times. Look, we all want execution to be better from an internal standpoint, but I think also you got to tip your cap to UIC is much improved, especially since last year.
They are. They are a very improved team. I think the thing that you got to give them credit for, and it just doesn't look necessarily great on video, doesn't necessarily wow you in person either, but their pitchers, they fill up the strike zone and they throw their off-speed pitches for strikes. And when you're able to do that at the college level, hitters have a tough time being on time whenever you get them kind of in between there with, a very good mix of fastball strikes, off-speed strikes. And that's what they did. I mean, there wasn't anything necessarily super sexy about what they were doing on the mound. It didn't just wow you. But, when you got mid-upper 80s stuff and you're throwing off-speed pitches for strikes consistently, and they did it all weekend with everybody that they ran out there, it's super competitive. And I think we have to give them more credit than what probably teams are giving them credit for, because if you look at what their pitching staff is doing over the course of the season and in conference play, they're successful. Again, credit to those guys. And they got us to at a weekend where we were flat. We played bad all weekend. We really did, which obviously is something as a coaching staff we got to figure out how we got to reduce that. We can't have an entire weekend where we didn't play well. And we got to capitalize whenever teams give us opportunities. I mean, they gave us an opportunity there on Friday where they usually don't to win a game, and we gave it right back to them. But again, I think a lot of what's going on right now is just when you lose a little bit, I mean it's tough. I mean, it makes going to class the next day tough. It makes going to weightlifting tough. It makes showing up to practice tough, and yeah, it takes a very strong mentality to be able to get over this, win a game, win another game, and kind of get that snowball going the other direction.
Outside of key guys missing, which you pointed to, say, hey, everybody's going through them. It looks like the offense, there will be those spurts where you go, that's the lineup that I expected. That's where we're stacking these quality at-bats, where you'll have that 5-run inning on Friday at UIC, and you're okay, like this is where we're going, we're finding our groove, and then it fades. Where do you see the commonality, Coach? Or maybe there's not one commonality through it all, but where you have stretches like you did against SEMO where it's just hard to get on base, to where it was that against UIC, What's been the commonality during this stretch that you and the staff maybe have noticed?
Well, I mean, if you look at, we kind of looked at it, the first 28 games of the season, we were hitting 350 on fastballs inside the strike zone. And when you look at what we've been doing over the last 6 games, we've been hitting, I think it was like 212 on fastballs. So, and a lot of that too, I mean, we've been going outside the strike zone. And I think a lot of it is, you lose a game, you lose 2 games, you lose 3 games, and then all of a sudden you lose your approach, you lose your mentality of what you know how to win, and you start trying to say, okay, I'm gonna get a hit here so my team feels good, and then the next guy, he swings outside the strike zone because he's trying to get a hit, and then all of a sudden we got everybody in the lineup that's trying to get hits by just swinging the bat. Well, we got to wait till the pitcher throws us a good pitch to hit. And then, every good offense hits fastballs. We got to be able to get back to hitting fastballs. We can't let, some off-speed pitches that are thrown in there get us off time, get us off rhythm. So, again, a lot of these things that we're addressing every single day behind the scenes, I think they're going to show up. I think the results are going to show up. Hopefully it shows up on Friday and Saturday and Sunday this weekend. But it's not going to be from a lack of effort. We're going to continue working this thing, and I think we're going to be in position. I really do. I like our team. It's not a lack of talent. We have talent. We have ability. We just got to be able to get over this little stretch here and get going on the right side.
It's one of those things too, Coach Rhodes, where we've talked about throughout the year where the balance in the league and where it's going to be tight throughout, which everyone likes to say, look at where the conference standings are. And it's like, well, I'm telling you, it's going to change week by week. And it could change really drastically because the margin between the teams, which, right now Indiana State and Illinois State separated themselves, but there's still a long way to go here with a lot of games. But the margin between the top to that cutting line, it's going to be small, which is why I know with you guys, and I know it's probably a talking point that fans don't necessarily like to hear, but you guys never preach standings. You don't go, look, guys, this is where we're at. It's about accomplishing what's in front of you, because if you do that, all that other stuff will take care of itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and we addressed this too earlier this week, where, we know that there's a certain number that we have to hit in order to be 1-2 seed. Obviously, that's a goal to be able to get one of those buys going into the tournament. But if we're trying to all of a sudden get to 18, 19 wins before we get to 5, before we get to 6, we're never going to get to 18 because we're never going to get, to 5, 6, 7, 8 and beyond. So we've got to start winning the game that's right in front of us. Once we win that game, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, and then we look up and we've got 15, 16, 17, 18 wins, and then if we do those things, we'll be in a position to where we have a chance to get that bye. I still truly believe we can get in that position. It's going to be a tough battle to win the league. There ain't no doubt. I mean, Indiana State's put themselves in a really good position. But I feel like with everything that Illinois State still has to play with the remaining schedule, it's still wide open to get that bye in the 2. Indiana State still has a tough road too.
Play everybody ahead.
Yeah, so there's nothing that says that we can't get on a hot streak here and finish 1 or 2. I truly believe that that's our goal. That's what it was when we set out, was to win the league. And, if we win the league, it's because we did it. And if we don't win the league, it's because we didn't do it. There's no excuses. We don't have to count on anybody else to lose games or to win games to put us in a certain position. It's all right in front of us with the teams that we have to play.
To just pinpoint that one guy has been a really big positive over anybody else over this last stretch, Coach, I think would be a stretch, but one guy who's really stood out to me is Cole Kuntz. I'm telling you, that game on Saturday in Game 1 when late in the game, leadoff triple, back-to-back walks, bases are loaded, nobody out, you just had that gut feeling like, this is a critical juncture in the game, and you're probably, man, if we could just get out of here only giving up 1 run, you feel really good. Cole comes in, strike out, pop up to get out of the jam, no runs. Just felt like that was going to be an energy wave that your group was going to be able to ride. Obviously it didn't, but do you feel that that's a guy in Cole who's really been able to gain some much needed confidence here, it feels like, over the last week.
Yeah, I think over the course of the last month, he's been throwing the ball extremely well. And he, unfortunately, has been kind of that guy where he's got the role of we're bringing him in with a bunch of crap going on.
Yes.
There's not a lot of people that can handle that. He's one of the guys that are on our staff right now. We feel like when we bring him in with runners on first and second, third, bases loaded, that we have a chance to get out of there with minimal damage, whether it's a run, maybe no runs. He came in at Evansville, similar situation, got a double play ball. So I think he's a guy that is able to come in under those type of conditions, under that type of pressure, and still execute. Not a whole lot of people can do that. And, it would be nice to be able to throw him out there with a clean start and see if he can get a couple, 2-3 innings under his belt. But it never usually plays out the way that you would perfectly like it to play. And, it's nice that he's been able to handle that. You need a guy in the bullpen that kind of has a steady heartbeat like that can handle some stuff like that and some pressure. But, yeah, I really thought, like you said, whenever he did that and got out of that bases-loaded jam, I thought it was going to kind of swing the weekend, swing the game, and it just didn't. And again, a lot of it, I don't know. Not many times do you see an entire lineup slump at the same time. I mean, a lot of times you see, 2 or 3 guys, and then 2 or 3 guys are swinging the bat pretty good, and it kind of balances out a little bit. We've been in a very unfortunate situation where, majority of our lineup right now has not been swinging the bat great. And again, a lot of that goes to, one, you do kind of go in a slump every now and then as an offense, but 2, where we've got to find a way to win. The losing, not only it doesn't necessarily change you mechanically and get you in a bad slump, but it messes with you. The fact that you're losing, it makes you feel like you're not doing something right. Then you try to change something and you get yourself in a funk. So the biggest thing that we know is that we got to win. And if we start winning, everything changes in the right direction. And, it's not going to be easy. I'm sure the first game we win is probably going to be a 1-run game in extra innings, or a 1-run game going into the 9th. Nothing's easy right now, and that's okay.
No, a team that you've really been high on in the league has been Murray State. You've said from the get-go you like the makeup of their team, and they've really shown it this year to this point. What did you see early on that you really liked about what they returned, what they've added, and then from what you've seen in the data so far here this year, what's really impressed you with Murray State and your next opponent?
Yeah, I knew they were going to swing it well. Their lineup was good. They added a bat, the Hogart kid from La Tech, who, he was a local junior college kid that we knew that was a good hitter. So I knew their offense was good because it was good last year. And then they returned a lot of experience from the starting rotation. You look at the first 2 guys that they throw. Vernon was a very good arm. Has been a good arm in the league for a long time. And Pennington. Again, I think we've said this a couple times, but I feel like they've been in the league just as long as I've been in the league, and not many times do you have 2 fifth-year guys or fourth-year guys, at the top of the rotation. And so they've got good balance. They got good balance, but the one thing is as good as they are, they're in a situation that's very similar to us right now. We're 2-7 over the last 9 games. I think they're 2-6 over their last 8 games. So, they're coming in with a very similar mindset as us, where they're not feeling tremendous about what they've done over the last 2 weeks. And I'm sure they're kind of trying to fight through that and figure out, how do they win right now too. And I think, that's why it's going to be a very intriguing matchup, to where you got 2 teams that know how important this weekend is to win this weekend, and 2 talented teams. So it should be, a competitive battle.
So much, Coach Rhodes, and your attention is going to be on what's happening on the field. But as I mentioned and leading into it, Alumni Weekend is a big deal. I think there's a lot of programs that want to make it a big deal, but here it is a big deal because of how close the alums are to you as the coach, to these guys, how they're invested in the program. What makes this just such a special weekend? And I'm sure in a way, too, where you want to get out of this funk even more so because you guys want to show those alums that, look, this is the group that we know that we've seen all fall and that we know we're very capable of being here in this spring.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes this place such a great baseball school is that there's people that really care about the program. They care if we win, they care if we lose, and you don't always get that in college baseball. I mean, there's some college baseball programs that, you know, people, they ask, hey, when's your season started, and you're 3/4 of the way through your year. You know, and, you know, for the people here, when we win, they're pumped up about it. When we lose, they're not happy about it, and that's a great thing. You know, we want to be a team that our alumni, our fan base are super proud of, and we know that a large part of that goes with wins and losses. So obviously we need to kick it in gear and we need to win. But the other thing is too is that when they show up here and they see us live in person, they need to be able to look out there on the field and see a product that they're proud to watch, that the effort's there, the attitude's there. And, you know, when we do those things, then they can be proud. You know, even if we get beat, they're going to be obviously disappointed, but they can be proud with what they watched on the field. And, you know, there's going to be people coming from all over the country. We've got alumni from California to Florida to the East Coast, West Coast, all over that are coming back to Carbondale this weekend to watch us play. And, you know, we need to put a good product on the field for those guys and show our appreciation for them coming back to see us.
No better time than to do it this weekend here in Carbondale against a really good Murray State team. Coach Rhodes, appreciate the time and look forward to having the call for all your games this weekend.
Sounds good. Let's get it.